What gives? My buddy Mista recently informed me that people are hating on the movie theater experience. How dare you? I looked into it a little bit and it appears that there's a growing sentiment that movie theaters are a gross, unappealing place to watch a movie, and I resent that. And you know, okay, I hear you. When you're at the movie theater, you can't pause it if you have to go pee. You have to spend more money driving there and paying for a ticket and maybe getting snacks than you would if you just pulled it up on Max. And that is fine, okay? I understand that, but I do feel a need to step in here because the slander is getting out of hand. Oh, strugglers, I love the movie theater. I love the smell of popcorn when you walk in, and the cool air and bright colors in the lobby. I love awkwardly tripping a little bit every time I climb the dumb, clunky staircase in the dark trying to find my seat. I feel like you can't really see me. I gotta switch seats, hold on. I gotta adjust the camera. There are only a few places that I feel genuine magic when I walk into them nowadays, and the movie theater is still one of those. And I firmly believe that a movie scene in the theater is infinitely better than anywhere else. Even stuff that has no business being on a big screen. I remember going to see The Wedding Ringer with my dad and my brother in like 2015, and that movie is quintessential streaming service background noise, okay? But I had it the time of my life. You're in the room with people, you're laughing together, big boom sound effects on the speakers, it's amazing. You're gonna get a big boom on your little 30-inch flat screen TV that's leaning against your wall. You don't even have it mounted. You gotta mount that thing. What are you doing? Back in high school, everybody walked out of the theater for Amazing Spider-Man 2 thinking, that was amazing, until the internet told them they were supposed to hate it. This is an enchanted realm where you are allowed and encouraged to sink deep into every single story that's told here. But it's not just the movies that make the theater experience so much fun. It's also those Coke machines out in the lobby that you can customize and pick whatever you want. Like you can do a root beer with vanilla in it. That's so much fun. I mean, it's humanity at its peak. A vanilla Fanta? Don't mind if I do. But I think my favorite part of the movie theater experience is the movie theater commercials. Not to be confused with movie trailers. I already made a video about that and you can watch that. But go ahead and watch that. It's a good video. No, I'm talking about the commercials for the theaters themselves. And they play before the trailers. It's like an ad for the place that you're sitting in. A few years back, AMC started using this pre-movie commercial starring Nicole Kidman, and it blew up into this like massive meme. People were making edits with it left and right. SNL parodied it. They were just getting dogged on, but I genuinely don't understand why people came after this commercial so hard.
We come to this place for magic, to laugh, to cry, to care, because we need that.
Absolutely, Nicole, absolutely.
That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. AMC theaters. We make movies better.
I'm already here. Why are you telling me all of this? You don't need to sell it to me, I already paid. All right, so is it a little bit corny? Sure. Is the average person more cynical now than they were before the pandemic? Probably. I wouldn't blame them. Would you blame them? But deep down, this is actually how I feel about the movie theater experience. I probably wouldn't be this dramatic about it, but I agree with this sentiment. AMC has had all kinds of fun and interesting pre-show bumpers over the years. If you've been to an AMC theater anytime in the last few decades, you'll probably recognize some of them. And another massive chain is Regal. They have a whole iconic history of bumpers themselves. People are obsessed with these roller coaster intros, man. They can't get enough of them. Me, personally, they make me feel a little bit dizzy, I'll be honest. All right, I'm getting vertigo just watching this right now. I might have to throw up into my popcorn bucket. Regal had another ad that made me dizzy for other reasons. It's just a bunch of people saying a lot of like semi-relevant movie quotes to each other.
She's beauty and she's great.
You can't sit with us. So you're telling me there's a chance?
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
As F, you sit on the throne of lies.
Honestly, what is going on here? Who greenlit this? Do you guys remember when those anti-smoking commercials were using like super outdated internet memes to try to relate to the youth?
Oh my God, it's a trap!
This feels like the same kind of thing, just for movie nerds instead. I think it's time for me to come clean with you guys. Remember a little bit ago when I said, if you've been to an AMC theater anytime in the last few decades, you'll probably recognize some of them. I don't recognize them. I've never been to an AMC theater. Okay, I've never even set foot inside of one. And North Dakota is one of only 8 states that don't have a Regal theater either. I've never seen that commercial with the quotes before. I was fibbing. I'm a fraud. I'm a poser. No, here in Fargo, North Dakota, the only name that means anything to me is Gregory Marcus.
If you've gone to the movies in the last decade to a Marcus Theater, you've seen this guy.
Classic.
Sitting there with this bucket of popcorn and inviting you to come on out and enjoy.
Vessi is the bestie. What is this now? Where'd Greg go? Thank you to Vessi for sponsoring this video. Oh, okay, it's one of those. Okay, let's just settle in for a minute here. This'll be quick. You know me. Okay, I'm a little freak out in nature. I see a puddle, I'm jumping in it, dragging my feet through every stream like some sort of woodland creature. Sometimes you're feeling a little waggish and you just gotta splash around a bit. Well, good news, because Vessi shoes are waterproof and great for getting out and about. I couldn't get my toes wet in these things if I tried. I'm out in the lawn soaking my feet with the hose to no avail. I own a lot of shoes, but the Vessi weekend sneakers, that's these ones, they make it into my rotation very often. Scott, they're so clean. How could they make it into your rotation when they're so clean? Waterproof. I washed these things off. We've been having a gnarly spring so far in my neck of the woods. It's rained almost every day. It makes mowing the lawn frickin' impossible. And okay, we're not here to talk about that. I got caught out in the rain the other day, and thank goodness I had my Vessis on. This was unplanned. Now, Vessi has a new style called the Storm Burst Low Top. They've got more traction. I mean, these things mean business. Look at them. And also the Westerly Coach Jacket. Waterproof and comfortable? I'm absolutely lurking in this outfit. Okay, watch out, world. So if you're looking to get out there in nature with no worries, you can head to vessi.com/Scott Cramer and you can get 15% off of your order. So thank you so much to Vessi for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys as always for using my links when I have them. Helps me out a ton. Now please continue to enjoy the show. Splendid. Okay. We have 3 movie theaters in the FM area. There used to be a 4th one just down the street from where I lived in college, but they closed. Rest in peace, Safari Theater. I'll never forget taking Jaden to see $4 movies. Very cheap dates back then. Do you remember going to see those? She's got her headphones in. She's not even listening to me. One of the remaining 3 theaters in Fargo is the Fargo Theater downtown. And that's not really a movie theater per se. It's more of a variety venue. They do stand-up comedy shows and like small concerts and stuff, but every now and then they will show a movie there. I think Jade and I went and saw The Disaster Artist there, actually. Is that what we saw? She's got her headphones in. So that leaves 2 other theaters, and both of those are Marcus theaters, and I love them dearly. I'm in one right now. Their website says that Marcus has 79 locations scattered across this very odd map of the US. Not a ton of rhyme or reason for that matter. I'm currently in the West Fargo cinema location. This is where I saw Iron Man and Spring Breakers and Star Wars Episode 3. Oh my goodness. I was right here when I heard the Spider Pig song for the first time in the Simpsons movie. I bawled my eyes out to Brother Bear in this very auditorium. Okay, I don't know if that's true. I actually can't verify that. Oh, IMAX? Who is that? I've never even heard of him. We only have the Greg Marcus Ultra Screen. I've never seen a movie in IMAX, truthfully. This is the closest I've got. What is the Ultra Screen, you say? I don't know. It's very big. I have an almost primal reaction when I see the Marcus intro sequence. It comes on before every movie that plays here. I'm doing that right now. They've updated this intro since then, and the day that they changed it, I felt like I was hit by a bus. It had become this security blanket for me. Like, I would hear the music start to play, and I would see Jack Sparrow's face, and I knew that I was about to embark on a journey that I would never forget. And then bam! They turned my world upside down. How dare you change the intro? It was almost as shocking as when they changed the DreamWorks intro. Are you aware of this? Do you remember how tranquil, how comforting and peaceful? They've updated it into this dang Universal Studios ride simulator. It's awful. It's just a feature of their most popular characters. It kind of comes off as a little insecure, if I'm being honest. Like, they didn't used to need all that. DreamWorks, The guy, the little boy on the moon, he spoke for himself. And now you're like, look, guys, we're the studio that made this movie. Didn't you like that one? Maybe you'll like this one. Come on, give me a break. I'm sorry, what was I talking about? Marcus Theaters. Okay. Pretty much every single movie that I've ever seen in my entire life in a theater has been at a Marcus. Other than Safari Theater, guys, you're never gonna believe this. I just looked it up and Safari was also a Marcus Theater. I can only think of like 3 that I've ever seen not in a Marcus Theater. I saw Green Lantern in 3D in Minneapolis somewhere. I saw This Is the End in Florida, I believe. And then I saw The Disaster Artist with Jaden in downtown Fargo. Everything else has been right here at home, baby. I feel safe here. And even though they wanted to take away my joy when they changed that policy trailer, there's one thing that they have not changed. The Greg Marcus intros. You know how every now and then an actor or a director will pop up on the screen before the movie plays, thanking you for coming to see it in a theater where it was meant to be seen? You know what I'm talking about? Well, Greg Marcus, CEO of Marcus Corporation, does the same thing before every single movie. If you live in a place where you have a Marcus Theater, you know Greg Marcus. There he is. That's my boy, Greg.
I'm Greg Marcus, and I want to thank you for choosing a Marcus Theater.
You're welcome. You are very welcome, Greg.
Anyway, thanks for coming and enjoy the show.
I will enjoy. I'll do it just for you, Greg. Okay, this is getting a little too meta, and I only have the theater rented for a little bit longer. So I think maybe I'll go back home now and finish the video there. New embroidered merch is still available at strugglershop.com, by the way. If you want to get some, this stuff will only be available for a very short time. But thank you so much for all the support on that. Okay. Let's see what Greg is up to.
Hi, I'm Greg Marcus, and I want to thank you for choosing a Marcus Theater. Growing up in the family business, I've always been into the movies. In fact, so much so that I even went to film school. For instance, I can tell you that was a bad edit.
You see this, man? You see that expertise? To spot an edit so subtle? Put some respect on Greg Marcus's name, okay? He's the best there is. So I don't know if y'all know this, but I usually have my video ideas planned out at least a year in advance, just the general concept at least. And I've been wanting to talk about Greg Marcus in some capacity for almost 2 years now. Every now and then I'd see a little Instagram ad pop up, and there was this one commercial that kept playing on Hulu a couple years back.
Have you forgotten what it's like to watch movies on a big screen?
Greg, I can smell the butter through the screen. Back up!
I miss popcorn. I miss it. I smell it. I can't resist it.
I have never believed somebody so wholeheartedly in my entire life. If you told me Greg Marcus survives solely on buttered popcorn and Dibs ice cream, I would believe you. I wouldn't even question it.
I don't care about the movies, food, or the trailers, man. It's all about Greg. It's all about Greg. Take a seat, motherfucker. I'll explain. Hi, my name's Greg Marcus, and I'd like to thank you for choosing my cinema over the other ones. I'm feeling Anakin. I am the chosen one. Book up your father. I'm loving these movie buds. I am not human. I'm some sort of entity. I could be president better than Kennedy.
So yeah, people like Greg Marcus. It's definitely a thing anywhere that has a Marcus Theater that Greg is kind of a meme. We all recognize these cameos. They've become iconic. And Marcus Theaters is the 4th largest theater chain in the country, so he's pretty well known. These intros are so popular and beloved that Marcus Theaters themselves have started kind of getting in on the joke.
I'm Greg Marcus, and on behalf of everyone at Marcus Theaters, I want to thank you for joining us. The reason I started appearing on our screens was because I wanted the chance to welcome you to our theaters. Though since I've started doing this, I am getting recognized a lot more. I keep hearing, "You look so familiar." Or, "Hey, are you the movie guy?" Or my favorite,
"Are you the one that keeps cutting holes in the bottoms of popcorn buckets? About yay big, Greg? You know anything about that?"
It's that movie guy.
Here we go again.
Can we get your autograph?
Everybody loves this guy. Except for Joseph. He's left a comment on just about every single video that Greg Marcus has ever appeared in, and it just says, "Fuck you, Greg. Who hurt you?" Greg, presumably. What did he do to you, Joseph? Did it involve a popcorn bucket?
Hi, I'm Greg Marcus.
God, Greg. What were you doing down there, Greg? What were you doing in that Dream Lounger? Who else is down there, you nasty man? This feels like as good a time as any to talk about the DreamLoungers.
Experience DreamLounger recliners coming soon to every seat and every auditorium at this theater.
What is a DreamLounger, you ask? Well, let's check in with some Marcus Theater moviegoers and find out.
And I believe they are the ultimate movie-going experience.
Great seats. It's excellent. Relax. Love it.
So there you go. Clear as day. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Excellent, relaxed, love it. Poetry. And so true. She ate with that one. So the DreamLoungers are these large, plush, ridiculously comfortable recliners that have ruined movies for me. These are so unbelievably comfortable that I refuse to go see a movie anywhere that doesn't have a DreamLounger. I almost threw up when I walked into the movie theater earlier that I rented, and I didn't see the DreamLoungers. It was horrifying. What are these? What am I looking at? How am I supposed to lay back with Greg Marcus in this abomination? And yes, this fella is correct.
You can raise the armrest in between the pair of seats so that you can get closer to your loved one.
You just pop that armrest up and you can lay nice and close to your loved one. I once saw a couple in a DreamLounger. I mean, there's no PG way to put it. They were sucking and f***ing in the DreamLounger. There may not have been full penetration, but it was enough. Some friends and I just wanted to go see Neighbors after a track meet. It was traumatizing. Zac Efron and Seth Rogen were on screen going at it. Two delinquents are going at it in the row in front of me. It's too much. But I mean, who can blame them when the logo for the DreamLounger looks like this? I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Look at this and tell me it doesn't look exactly like a dick and balls. Look at me with a straight face and tell me that. Who designed this logo and who approved it? Greg? Was it you, Greg? The designer was either paid far too much for this or not nearly enough. DreamLounger has always felt like a weird name to me because it kind of insinuates that you might fall asleep during the movie, and I don't think it's ideal to fall asleep during a movie that you paid for. My dad fell asleep in the theater during Transformers 2 when I was younger. Unbelievable ability to block out your surroundings there, Dad. These recliners were kind of revolutionary. I remember when Marcus started putting them in their theaters, it had like cut the capacity of the theater in half. Oh no, less money! Wrong, actually. They made more money. Greg has talked a few different times about how adding these bigger, comfier seats has actually encouraged more people to come to the theater. And when they installed these, they also started having you select your seat before the movie started, instead of like that free-for-all policy that movie theaters used to have. Do you remember saving seats in the theater for friends? An absolute nightmare. Fighting off other patrons that are coming in to see the movie, setting a jacket on the chairs next to you. It was humiliating. One of my least favorite things that I ever had to do. And just like the urinals in the men's bathroom, people tend to leave gaps in between other parties. So there are all these wasted seats in between groups of people. There's empty seats all throughout the theater. So Greg said, let's just get rid of them. Why not have less seats and a better experience at the same time? Greg, you business guru.
Especially it's not costing anymore. Yeah. Amazing, in today's world.
You're simply too good to us, Greg.
Good morning, Adam and Charlotte. Okay, so I first have to shed light on this. They're called DreamLoungers, right? So comfortable. This was the chair that our friend Russell here actually enjoyed while watching Star Wars. Good morning.
Good morning.
I do have a bit of a side tangent about The Force Awakens, actually. It's not just a Star Wars tangent, it's actually related. Years ago, in 2015, I went to that Marcus West Acres theater that I was just at, and I was gonna film a prank video where I was standing outside of the theater and interviewing people that were going to see Star Wars. Now, I don't know if you remember this, because the movie hasn't really been received all that well, but at the time, the hype for The Force Awakens was unmatched. So I was going to grab people going into the theater and interview them about Star Wars, and throughout the interview accidentally drop fake spoilers for the movie. But as Jaden and I were standing out there waiting, not a single person walked into the movie theater, and we waited for half an hour. It was freezing cold, miserable, and I lost all motivation, so we just left. But a few days after that, a video went viral of somebody doing the exact same concept. Clearly my time had not come yet. Everything happens for a reason. I think maybe if that had worked out for me, I may have turned into a degenerate prank YouTuber, and I wouldn't be where I am today. So shout out literally nobody going to see Star Wars in Fargo, apparently. Over on my second channel, I've covered a few local news stories that the news station that I used to work at has covered, and that's been more recent stuff, but I just stumbled across something from 2015 about Marcus Theaters.
It's the second time Marcus Theaters has asked for a liquor license. Valley News Team's Macy Inger looked into what changes you'd see at the movies if the license is approved.
Neil and Lori Olerud agreed to do some shopping, but they disagreed when it came to the movie theater being allowed to serve alcohol.
They've been doing this in a number of other facilities and don't have any problems, and so we'll have to look at that and just see if it's appropriate for Fargo.
They never did approve that liquor license, which is kind of a bummer because I think crushing beers while watching Top Gun Maverick on the big screen might be a top 5 experience of my entire life. So I am a little upset that I never got to do that.
Judgment's the first thing to go when you're drinking.
and there's a lot of children there that invites a lot of things that isn't family friendly.
I do see this guy's point though. Theater etiquette is definitely on the decline. That's one of the major reasons that people have gripes with going to the movies at all. Everything is way too expensive and people just ain't acting right. Adding alcohol into the mix could definitely make things worse. Mr. Gigi recently made a video where he watched every movie that was in theaters, and he touched on some of the annoying and distracting things that people were doing, and I thought it'd be nice to elaborate with him a little bit on that, and seeing as though he is a nice Midwestern boy, just like myself, I know he knows about that Marcus lifestyle. Mr. Gigi.
Yes.
I would consider you a nice Midwestern boy. Is that fair to say?
If I do say so myself, if they claim me, sure.
If you're a good Midwestern boy, I just have one question for you. Does this mean anything to you?
No.
Come on.
No.
Gigi. Come on, Gigi. I know this means something to you.
This looks like an emblem from Call of Duty. I don't know what I'm looking at. What is this?
Let me make it a little more clear for you.
The anticipation is killing me.
Does this make it any more clear for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Dream Lounger, the classic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, if you were like, does the Dream Lounger have a logo? I would have lost.
I saw in the video that you just made that you frequented Marcus a few times, so.
Yes, very familiar.
I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Dream Lounger. I just thought it was funny because the logo looks like a dick.
Because I see. Okay, I feel better about myself. I feel like usually I'm the dirty one between us two, so I'm glad you stepped it up.
Every time I see this thing, that's all I'm thinking. Like, what are they doing? What is this logo, man?
Okay, yeah. Now I see classic Shaft. All right, now I can't unsee it.
Sorry about that. I hope I didn't ruin it for you. Kind of just diving into theater etiquette. And I do remember you bringing up theater etiquette in the video that you just recently posted. So I have a couple of scenarios that I just want to throw at you, and I want to get your opinion on if it's okay, if it's acceptable, or if it's just not acceptable behavior in the theater.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to start with the most, what I think is the least acceptable, which would be a little bit of sucking, possibly a little bit of fucking in the theater. That's because I've also experienced it firsthand. I've been in a theater when it's happening.
Question: You don't speak up in a situation like that, do you?
Oh, no, not a chance. I froze, and it did ruin the movie for me because it's all I could think about.
I would say, yeah, definitely not okay in theater etiquette. Don't suck and in a theater, I would say.
Actually, I do think it's probably very against the law as well. So there's that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's important too.
But these other things are a little bit more commonplace, a little bit more questionable, perhaps. So,
okay.
What would you say about? I feel like I always run into that person that after every trailer plays, they feel like they got to say something about it. They got to make a little comment. Where do you fall in if that's okay or if that's too much?
Anything before movie, I feel like it's pretty much fair game. I can judge you and be like, all right, fucking Spotlight Sally, I get it. You want to say, oh, I'm not watching that. And the audience roars into laughter.
Yes,
you know,
great opinion, just kind of perfect opinion.
It's just more like a roll my eyes kind of moment. I mean, it's fair game.
How about munching on popcorn during a silent portion of a movie? Where do you fall on that?
Oh, I see. This one's complicated. Because the theater serves food, crunchy ass food, crunchy nachos, crunchy popcorn. If you're doing it, I would say you're definitely lacking in theater etiquette. Do I want you booted out of the theater? No, not necessarily. You're not in sucking in fucking territory. But also, you gotta, what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta read the room. Wait till all of a sudden there's a transition sound, or maybe they start playing like a little bit of music, someone's punching each other really loud, and then blah, 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 blah. But if you're just schmacking when that's all we can hear, come on.
You kind of have to treat it like, what's the movie? It's with Morgan Freeman and they're in a prison. Shawshank
Bruce
Redemption.
Almighty.
You have to treat it like Shawshank.
Okay, right.
When the thunder strikes, you gotta bang, 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 bang. You know, you're trying to break out.
Yes, there you go.
What was the movie that you said?
Mine was similar. Bruce Almighty was the one I said.
Let me paint a picture for you. You're sitting a little bit farther back. You can see a lot of the people down below you. So, you know, you got a good view of the other theater goers. What say you if somebody takes off their shoes?
Do they have socks on?
They don't have socks on, man. They got the dogs out.
You're not inherently you're not ruining my movie watch, right? I'm gonna look over, I'm gonna see dogs, and I'm gonna be like, dog alert. But I'm gonna keep watching the movie, and I may peer over every now and then and be like, they're still out? You're not really bothering my movie watch. I kind of look at it in the same well, maybe they're kind of different. Whipping the dogs out in an airplane.
Oh, I've never even thought about that.
Never seen a raw dogger in flight?
I have not. No, I have not. I would be less okay with it on a plane than I am in a movie theater. Because it's a plane is more contained. What's the word? Not personal. It's more
intimate?
It's more intimate, exactly. I did have one last thing that I was gonna say as kind of a goof for the etiquette thing, and I was gonna say, is it acceptable to stand up and shout "awooga" every time you see Ryan Gosling on screen?
That's so pretty. I would have laughed. That was funny. Anybody saying "awooga" just is funny to me.
You guys, I have a plea for you. Do not give up on movie theaters. I know there are reasons why you might prefer to just watch them at home. I know it can be really expensive. I know that it takes a lot of time out of your day. I get it. I don't want to downplay the negatives of it. But to me and so many other people, movie theaters are still such a special place. It's kind of like music. You know, we could all just listen to the new album on Spotify, right? But there's something so much more impactful about going to the concert. You gotta go to the concert. I want to go to the movies. I'm sick of watching movies on freaking Peacock! Studios have just been skipping theaters altogether and just dropping them straight onto a streaming service. What are we doing? We're killing the industry for why? And I do agree with Greg Marcus when he says seeing a movie in the theater is the best way to experience it. And I know Greg has an incentive to say things like that, seeing as though he is the CEO of a movie theater corporation. Maybe he's a tad biased. Perhaps. But just like how I believe that Shaquille O'Neal uses the products that he endorses, I believe that Greg Marcus frickin' loves going to the movies. This son of a gun is eating popcorn in every single interview he does. Now, I know he's probably just really deeply into character, but maybe he just really likes eating popcorn. Anyway, that's all I really had to say. Ironically, I think Marcus Theaters partners exclusively with Pepsi, so that comment that I made earlier about the customizable Coke machines doesn't even apply here. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I've got a video going up on my second channel where I tested all of the seats in the theater to try to figure out which is the best seat, so if you want to see that, subscribe to the second channel. Like I said, there's still embroidered merch available for a limited time, and an extra thank you to my patrons. Those listed here are in the top tier on there. You guys, come on. We were gonna go see a movie. You guys didn't show up. I was in the theater by myself. What gives? Be sure to check your subscriptions tab on YouTube. Don't let the algorithm just tell you what to watch all the time. Shout out Alicia and Riley for saying hi at the coffee shop. Very cool. I will talk to you guys again very soon, and I'll see you on the second channel. Goodbye.